Every politician in Washington knows the power of the Israel lobby. Thanks to the recent revelations of Thomas Massie, more voters are waking up to the influence, dare we say, the control the lobby wields over our elected representatives. For their impertinence, both Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene may face tough re-election bids next term, as opposing the lobby has a way of ending lawmaker careers, even long and distinguished ones. But who are the lobby's congressional victims, and to what do they owe their punishment? And what might the lobby have against Massie and Greene? Sincere thanks to all our new subscribers and viewers. We humbly ask that you give a thumbs up and share this, and that you please subscribe to keep high-quality content coming your way. Now back to the video. You see this napkin? In 24 hours, we could have the signatures of 70 senators on this napkin. So boasted former AIPAC official Stephen Rosen to Jeffrey Goldberg of The New Yorker and more recently The Atlantic magazine. Events have shown this to be an accurate statement rather than empty bragging. AIPAC stands for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, and by many accounts is the most powerful lobby in the United States, besting even the notorious National Rifle Association. It was founded in 1954, and despite its lobbying for the benefit of a foreign government, AIPAC has never been required to register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. For the complete story on the lobby, we recommend a groundbreaking 2007 book written not by extremist hate merchants, but rather by distinguished academics from two of the top universities in the country and the world. Our first AIPAC victim is Representative Paul Findley, who started off as a typical U.S. congressman from a rural district. A central Illinois Republican, he served for 22 years, garnering as much as 70% of the vote in 1978. But his several trips to the Middle East to talk with controversial leaders such as Yasser Arafat did not endear him to the pro-Israel establishment. Findley's sympathy with the plight of the Palestinians put him in AIPAC's crosshairs. The 1980 Reagan campaign team shunned Findley, and Gerald Ford canceled a campaign event with him. Rough treatment from his fellow Republicans. Even entertainer Bob Hope felt undue pressure from Hollywood and beyond, and had to withdraw from a planned event for Findley. He narrowly won re-election in 1980, but lost in 1982 after money poured to his opponent, Richard Durbin, from all over the country. AIPAC's executive director, Thomas A. Dine, told a Jewish audience, quote, "This is a case where the Jewish lobby made a difference. We beat the odds and defeated Findley." Findley's excellent book, They Dare to Speak Out, tells the story of his defeat at the hands of AIPAC and that of several others mentioned here. Our second AIPAC victim is U.S. Representative Paul Pete McCloskey, Republican from California. Before running for Congress, he served with the Marine Corps in the Korean War, earning 2 Purple Hearts, a Silver Star, and the Navy Cross. He was elected to the House 7 consecutive times. Toward the end of his lawmaking career, he became disturbed with Israel's building of illegal settlements in the West Bank. He attempted to offer an amendment which would penalize Israel $150 million to get them to stop. He withdrew the amendment but attracted the rage of the lobby's media mouthpieces. His run for the U.S. Senate in 1982 ended with a defeat in the primary to Pete Wilson. His bravery in combat made him an excellent opponent of the Israel lobby, which he has said, quote, terrorizes Congress. Our next AIPAC victim has a familiar name. Originator of the well-known scholarship, Senator J. William Fulbright hailed from Arkansas and served in the U.S. Senate for just 3 days shy of 30 years. Over the years, he grew bolder in his critique of Israel's building of settlements in Palestinian lands and claimed on CBS's Face the Nation in 1973, quote, Israel controls the Senate, and we should be more concerned about the United States' interests. In the 1974 Senate campaign, Fulbright suddenly found himself running against a popular candidate, whom Fulbright believed was convinced to run by members of the lobby, of whom he has opined, it's suicide for politicians to oppose them. There is even a JFK assassination tie into the story, as John Connally, the Texas governor who was also shot that day in Dallas, became yet another victim of the Israel lobby. He switched parties from Democrat to Republican and made a run at the presidency in 1980. In a 1979 foreign policy speech in Washington, he made audacious proposals of Palestinian statehood, criticized Israel's building of settlements, and said, quote, without billions of dollars of economic and military aid, Israel simply could not survive. Yet, support for this level of aid is eroding. Predictably, the mouthpieces of the lobby activated at once, spouting the usual slurs. Connolly's campaign chairman attributed the loss to Connolly's unusually candid speech. The next victim of the lobby hailed from a political dynasty. His grandfather served as vice president under Grover Cleveland in the 1890s. His father was the Democratic nominee for president who lost to Eisenhower in both 1952 and 56. Adlai Stevenson III served in the U.S. Senate for 10 years before running for governor of Illinois. But his political pedigree wasn't enough to save him from the Israel lobby. AIPAC compiled a summary of Stevenson's voting record on the Middle East matters. He had proposed withholding aid to Israel until it stopped its settlement building in the West Bank. Not only did Stevenson suffer the usual smears from media mouthpieces, but there were also ballot box irregularities, in Chicago of all places. His request for a recount was denied by the Illinois Supreme Court. Stevenson said this about his challenging of the policies of Israel. "I really don't understand the worth of public office if you can't serve the public. It's better to lose. It's better not to serve than to be mortgaged or compromised." Admirable words, but Stevenson was never again elected to public office. Our last featured victim, Charles Percy, was a Republican elected to the U.S. Senate from Illinois and served 3 6-year terms beginning in 1967. In 1984, he became a target of the lobby when he voted to support the Reagan administration in an effort to sell radar planes to Saudi Arabia. Pro-Israel activists didn't care for this. Not only did Percy become a target of AIPAC, but a wealthy Los Angeles businessman, Michael Goland, spent $1.1 million of his own money to buy advertising opposing Percy's re-election in Illinois. Goland later earned a conviction for his illegal campaign contributions in a 1986 California Senate race. Other Chicago area businessmen promised Percy's opponent, Paul Simon, $1.5 million if he would commit to running for Percy's Senate seat. All that spending worked, and Percy went down to defeat. The AIPAC director, Thomas Dine, gloried in the effectiveness of his organization, saying, quote, "The American politicians, those who hold public positions now and those who aspire, got the message." To return to the present day, Thomas Massie has revealed that each congressman in Washington is assigned an AIPAC babysitter to both monitor the lawmaker and badger him into voting in favor of Israel. He further points out that no other foreign country, not even close allies like Britain, Canada, or Germany, have a dedicated lobby in the U.S. Israel's is the only one, and it has never been required to register as a foreign agent. Since Massie does not vote for wars or foreign aid, this puts him in opposition to AIPAC, whom he says runs ads against him and spent $400,000 in his 2024 congressional race. In a departure from her unswerving loyalty to President Trump, Congresswoman from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene, has grown bolder in her criticism of Israel, condemning its illegal attack on Iran and even disparaging Benjamin Netanyahu. These lawmakers are popular today. Massie won with 75% of the vote in his last election. Yet history has shown that when the decision comes down, AIPAC will spring into action, funneling money from far and wide to swing a local election to the candidate of its choice. Paul Findley was similarly popular in his day, but still fell. The question is whether these two brave congressmen will get the message and self-censor, or whether they'll continue to defy the Israel lobby and risk an early end to their political careers.